Okay, the next step that we need to do is once you've got your book made, now we need to be able to put the things in the inside of that. So we have our book all made. Now we need to create these designs. Now don't be intimidated by the way these designs are right now. I'm going to walk you through how to make those designs. So you can see, and you can see it pretty easily here in this one, where there are different segments, and you are all given in your packets pieces of paper like this. Now you need to have 8 of them. You have actually more than that, just in case you want messed up. So you actually need 9. You need 8 for the inside and 1 for the outside. And you have plenty of them for extras. If you have white paper and you want to make more, that's perfectly fine. So you have these, and they're already pre-lined with where you're going to draw your lines. So what you are going to do first, and you can use, like I said, you can use a ruler. You really can use any straight edge. You don't have something else to do. Worst case scenario, you can even take the book that you had and your pencil and use this. So what we are going to do is you are going to just line these lines up. Now, you're going to do everything first in pencil. After everything is over, then we will go and we will do things in the black pen, a black pen, or a Sharpie. But right now, you want to just take a pencil and you want to draw your lines just opposite each other. So you're just going to take, and again, these lines may not stay there, so you want to draw them lightly. I'm drawing them darker so you can see them in the video, but this is what you do for here. Now these are going to be cut out of this paper. We're gonna cut these out, so it doesn't matter if you go beyond them, and that's why these lines are on the outside of them. So you will go through and you will draw the lines in here, and what this is going to do is it's going to give you a place to start for your designs. But you certainly don't have to keep the lines there. They can be erased later. So you won't have to have everything divided into sections. This one you see here, that you can see kind of where they had the lines before it, but it created a radial design. So we're making mandalas. That's what we're doing. For all of these are different mandala designs. And I'm going to show you a little book here, a little example. You can see kind of where it is, but it's a repetition of design and pattern throughout the whole thing. So they can be a little more intricate. They can have a lot of different designs here, and we're going to color each one of these with a different portion of the color theory. And we'll get to that in another video. Don't worry about that. But you can see it's just a repetition of design. So these are circles that are repeated. And these little segments here give you an opportunity to repeat. You can do it in the middle. You can do it over top of them. It kind of gauges you of where you are. So you can kind of see this one was swooped up here. It's the same design in the triangle, repeated each time. But then that line was erased eventually after that was over. So you're going to take these designs, all of them, divide all of them up into your segments, and then creating a radial design using the mandalas. Now you'll see I have posted also some helpful hints and some design ideas. Go ahead and look up designs on the internet, some patterns, and look up some different mandala designs. See which patterns you like best, and then you can use them. And all a mandala design is, again, it's a radial design, repeating different shapes and lines. You're creating different areas where you're going to add color. So the reference sheets that I have for you, you will see here, this is one of them, this patterning tips and techniques. So this is, you can see where they've taken and made this design here, added a little bit to it, add a little bit more, add a little bit more. And you can go as fancy or as little as you want. Here are some different other designs. You can have repeated floating shapes. You can use some different fancy designs within them. So any of those designs will help, tips and tricks. There's also some different other patterns I've showed you. And these are in the handouts that I have posted on Schoology. You'll see them. Don't worry about the color. When we get to that, we'll talk about the repeating color. But for right now, we're just worried about the design and the patterns that you want to create for your designs. So you'll see some lines here. So once you have your sections all divided out, then you just simply decide to where you want to put your shapes or your designs or patterns. So I can choose any one of these shapes, or I can come up with my own, and I can simply draw a square here. If you are drawing straight lines, I want you to use a straight edge of some sort. So it can be a ruler, and take your time with it. Play around with the different patterns, and again, you're going to be going over these. So then, again, it's radial design. I did it on that line. So now I'm going to do it on, I can do it here. I can choose to do it every other one. But again, I need to make sure that I am repeating that pattern each time. So I'm going through and I'm just going to repeat that. In here. And so that's the start of my design, and then I'm going to keep going with my squares. And again, if you're going to do a straight line, I want you to use a straight edge. They don't have to be perfectly measured out. As you can see, I'm just kind of eyeballing this, but I am making a square, and I'm repeating it over the line each time. So my next one, I've decided I'm going to do kind of a teardrop shape. And I'm putting that over the other, in between each one. Starting, I match that up, match this up. And this is the part that's going to take a little bit of time, where you want to just keep going back and forth, keep doing it. You can see that I'm rotating my paper. That's the easiest way to try and get your patterns and your designs, and this is another reason we use a pencil, in case the lines aren't the way you want. And then in my spots out here, I can just decide to do a diamond shape. And then I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to do the diamond shape again. But I'm going to do that in every one of these squares, or every one of the triangles. And you can come up with whatever you want. If you don't want to do shapes repeating, you can do the lines and the patterns. Those are going to repeat. And it's the pattern itself that's going to repeat, and then you're going to add to this pattern later, and by adding the different colors in the different color theories that we are going to be doing on each one of the pages. So you need to have, and again at the end, you will have 9 different designs, 9 total designs. And one will be for your cover, and then you will fill each design in on each one of the pages in between. So once you have this design done and you are happy with the way the design is, and again, it can be simple, it can be more complex, you will then take a black Sharpie or a black pen, whatever you have at home, but you want to use black and not blue. So be careful with that. If you're grabbing a pen, make sure it's a black pen. And you're going to go over all of these lines so that you have a nice solid outline for when you are doing your coloring over top of it. So you're going to keep going around and making your designs. You can use any one of the patterns. I like the way this pattern looks here, but again, there are a lot of different patterns that you can see, and these are on the handouts that you've done. but you can add fancy designs within them. You can add this right here, but whatever you do, and this is why we divide it up. So whatever you do in each one of these, you just keep repeating your design. So if I were to erase all of these designs, I would have nothing in the middle. So I want to make sure that I address that middle section as well. I can draw a circle. Now I can use something to trace. That's if I have something that's too big. If I have other things to trace around the house, you can use, like here's a paper clip. If I wanted to trace and I wanted to have this arc going on in all of my, going from one side to the next, and then I could use this. So if you find things to trace, that's perfectly fine for your design as well. So then I'm going to go this way with it. And then I'm going to trace it this way. So if you find other things to trace, maybe you happen to have some stencils or something at home. So that was my design there. I'm going to draw little circles right through here in each one of these little pie shapes that I have here. So you can get as fancy as you want with them. Just know that we'll be using them for different things in the book. That'll have, you need to have a multitude of different spots to put different colors. I like that pattern, so I'm going to come out here and come like this, and so I do that there. And again, it is easiest if you rotate your paper so that you are able to come up with your design, and then easier to draw it so that it's rotating all the way around. Again, we're making mandalas, and mandala is a rotation, a radial design. So what I do one place, I continue to do it in other places as well. So I will continue around this, and then I come here, and then I continue and finish with my design this way. And so there I have all of my the designs that I want to do. And so from this point forward, then I will take a Sharpie or a black pen, and I will draw and trace around these lines and designs so that you end up with the patterns that you see up on the inside. So this, trying to find my example book here. So that is why you see that these are all dark. These were traced with a black pen, and then they were cut out and glued in. So once you have all of your designs done, so you have completed the one for your cover and then the 8 for the inside, you simply trace them in a black pen. You cut them out, and you can see that this is glued in here. This has been glued onto this paper. Then you glue them one on every single side. And we'll talk about the color theory in the next step of the video. So you make all of your designs, cut them out, trace them with the black first, cut them out, and then glue them in to your book just like this. So you have one for every page.